Senator Ron Johnson is pressing the Secret Service for more information relating to Joe and Hunter Biden's travel while he was the vice president. So let's also be clear, the Biden campaign has not denied the authenticity ever of one email, text, document, photo, even the crack pipe photo that's been released. The FBI, the DOJ, the DNI all agree this has nothing to do with a Russian disinformation campaign. Fox's own Mike Emanuel has verified email chains about a Chinese investment firm. What does it all mean? It means that Joe Biden is corrupt to the core and that he and his family benefited to the tune of millions of dollars, and even $1.5 billion deal with China with no experience, just like zero experience in energy, oil and gas, and Burisma Holdings. And by the way, he clearly believes in nothing, clearly will say anything to cling on to power, and he's trying to duck and dodge and weave for the next 13 days and hope this doesn't rise to the level that it should. China was on the rise. Joe Biden downplayed this threat. His son got rich. Joe Biden had a chance to stand up for America's interests around the world. He did the exact opposite. He leveraged your tax dollars. So tomorrow it is time for Joe to answer the tough questions. What did you know? When did you know it? How did your son with no experience make all this money from China and all these deals with China nationals, shopping sprees, Russian oligarchs, Ukrainian oligarchs, Kazakh oligarchs? Again, no experience. We have the wire transfers. No more lying, no more selling access to America's adversaries at the expense of our safety and our security. We'll keep developments all throughout the night, but also breaking tonight, U.S. intelligence officials have confirmed that threatening emails were sent to Democratic voters were not from a far-right group as reported in the media mob, but in fact came from the country of Iran as part of an election interference scheme. Here was reaction. He's been all over this. Senator Ron Johnson just sent a letter to the DOJ Inspector General asking for a probe into the Hunter Biden email case. I know you've been briefed on this breaking news story, Senator. What it means is that, in fact, you have your answer. The FBI's had apparently possession of this hard drive now since December of 2019. And, in fact, the FBI receipt for property, which they got from the Mac shop, which is where they got it, and it is likely that a criminal case was opened and subpoenas were issued, which means the high likelihood that both the laptop and the hard drive contain fruits of criminal activity, according to official in this FoxNews.com report. Sir, your reaction?
Well, first of all, I think Brooks Singleton is doing a good job with investigative reporting, and fortunately we have some good reporters. Don Solomon, Catherine Herridge, Maria Barbaroma that are actually investigating this scandal, but the vast majority of the reporters are completely ignoring it, and that's a scandal in and of itself. But no, from our own standpoint, as we continue to validate and verify, based on the emails that are emerging now, all we have found is verification. We haven't found any discrepancies. We checked Secret Service travel records. Those tie out to the different travels. One thing we noticed is that it sounds like Hunter Biden stopped Secret Service protection in July 2014, and yet they're talking about buying a couple tickets for Secret Service protection in 2015. So we've got another letter off the Secret Service trying to get to the bottom of that as well.
So Ray has some explaining to you to do, because you've been asking him if he had it. He won't even answer your question. Does he not believe in congressional oversight?
That's why it's so important for investigative reporters to start using their sources, because they actually have sources who will give them information where, obviously people like Director Ray, CIA Director Haskell are not responsive to legitimate congressional oversight. Now, we're starting to get some more information out of the FBI, but this is 13 days before election. We should have had this information months, if not years ago, and that's the other scandal, the deep state, slow-walking, legitimate congressional oversight requests, keeping important information from the American public before an election. That is the scandal.
Director Ray, that would mean he had this information while impeachment was going on, which means it would have been relevant. Let me put up on the screen, you tell me if any part of what we're going to put up here is wrong. There you have Hunter Biden, okay? You have Rosemont Seneca. You have Burisma Holdings. So then you have his two partners, this one guy, Cooney, who is in jail, Devin Archer, whose name we hear a lot, he's a convicted criminal awaiting a jail term. So Hunter Biden, tell me where I'm wrong. That Hunter Biden made money in energy from Ukraine with no experience, millions of dollars. He got $1.5 billion deal with the Bank of China, no experience that I've seen as it relates to private equity. He got $3.5 million from a Russian oligarch, the First Lady of Moscow, and another wire transfer from a Kazakhstan oligarch earmarked for the purchase of a new car. Now, if you don't have any experience at all in any of these fields of endeavor, isn't that an awful lot of money to be making? I mean, it sounds like a great deal if anyone can get in on it. What did those countries think they were getting for money, the money they're paying Hunter, because it certainly has nothing to do with expertise in any area of endeavor that he's hired for?
They thought we were buying access to the Vice President Biden, and then hopefully getting favorable policies out of the U.S. government based on that access. But, Sean, you mentioned Bevan Cooney and Devin Archer. So these are two convicted felons now. These are the unsavory characters that Hunter Biden associated with. And by the way, what Bevan Cooney and now Devin Archer have been convicted of, this was a plot they hatched, a fraud against a tribe, hatched and implemented during 2014, the exact same year that the conflict of interest was set up in Ukraine on Burisma. And here's the first question I'd ask out of 100 different questions for Vice President Biden is, Mr. Vice President, why did you meet with Devin Archer 5 days before you went to Ukraine and you were named the face of U.S. policy in Ukraine? Why did you meet with Devin Archer? And then 6 days later, Devin Archer was named to the board. A few weeks later, Hunter Biden was named to the board, but now we're finding out that Hunter Biden might have been on the board on April 13th, 3 days before that meeting. So this was a meeting in the White House with Devin Archer, who's now a convicted felon. What did Vice President Biden meet with Devin and Bart? What did they talk about? Who else was at that meeting? Those are the first questions I would ask the Vice President about among 100 more.
And was Hunter holding the big guy's money? Was that Joe Biden? Director Wray needs to either show up or he needs to be out of a job. It's time for him to clean up the premier law enforcement agency in the world. Senator, thank you. We got a lot of questions. Hopefully tomorrow night we'll find out.